Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. I learned a song from the Vaishnavas, and I didn't realize, though, that it was a really high song that we're not supposed to sing very often. Yep.
Sing it.
No,
Yeah.
I cannot. Because
So high.
it's very high.
Can I just see the translation?
You gonna sing it?
I think you should do it. It's okay.
Who told you not
It's
to sing
on
it?
video, though. Mm, maybe another time when it's not on video, I will sing it. But someone else.
Sing what? No.
Yes.
I think you should do it. It's okay. It's yeah, we sing it regularly. It's very beautiful. Yeah, like it's okay. I mean, I know what you're saying, but really sweet song actually. Now's opportunity, you know.
Can we read the translation first? 50? Just so we
I have to remember. Shiva Mandari Pada Se Mora Se Mora Se Mora Bhajana Bhajana Se Mora Bhajana Se Japa. Okay. The lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari are my treasure. They are the sole object of my bhajan and worship. Her lotus feet are the wealth of my life. They are the ornament of my life, and indeed the very life of my life.
Her lotus feet are the treasure house of rasa, the attainment of my desires and the conclusion of all the Vedas. Her lotus feet are the goal of my vows and austerities, the object of my recitation of mantra, and the purpose of all my religious activities.
When providence becomes favorable, I shall attain Sri Rupa Manjari's lotus feet and behold them with these two eyes. The abundant sweet beauty of Sri Rupa Manjari's lotus feet will shine like the moon upon the blue lotus of my heart, causing it to blossom in jubilation both day and night.
Your absence from my vision is like a snake that has corroded my body with poison. The remaining days of my life will pass in the burning fire of separation. Alas, O Srila Rupa Goswami, be merciful and give me the shade of your lotus feet. There, Narottam is taking shelter. Shh, 350. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Se Mora Bhajana bhajana pujana. Se mora pranadana, se mora bhajana. Se mora jivana jivana. Se mora jivana jivana. Se mora. Se mora rasaneti, se mora vancha sedi. Se mora vedera dharma. Se mora vedera dharma. Se vata saitapa, se mora manta japa. Se mora dharma karama. Se mora dharma karama. Anukula bevedi, se pade hoi besedi. Nirakibo edu enayane. Nirakibo edu enayane. Shirupa madayarasi, panakuvalaya chasi. Pavulita benishidine. Pavulita benishidine. Tuadashanahi, Karale Jaralo Dehi. Jira Jina Tapita Jivana. Chiradina tapita jivana Aha Prabhu Koro Jaya Deo More Pada Jaya Aha Prabhu Koro Jaya Deo More Pada Jaya Narottama Loilo Sharana Narottama Loilo Sharana Shirupa Manjari Pada Semora Sampada Semora Bhajana Pujana Semora Bhajana Pujana Semora Bhajana Pujana Jaya Rupa Manjari Jaya Rupa Manjari Rupa Manjari Jaya Rupa Manjari Prabhu Hai Prabhu Hai Prabhu Hai Prabhu Hai Which one?
Padakamale manam kemone la vive charamasharana Shri Radha Krishna Padakamale mana kemone la vive charamasharan Chiradina Korea Ocharanayasha Chiradina Korea Ocharana Ache bosia e adamandasa. Ache bosia e adamandasa. Hey Radhe, hey Krishna Chandra, Bhakata Prana. Hey Radhe, Krishna Chandra, Bhakata Prana. Hey Radhe, hey Krishna Chandra, Bhakata Prana. Hey Radhe, Krishna Chandra, Bhakata Prana. Pamare Yugala, Bhakti Korodana. Amare Yugala, Bhakti Korodana. Bhakti Hina Boli, Amito Upeksha. Bhakti Hina Boli, Nakoro. Morka jane deho jnana shushika. Morka jane deho jnana shushika. Vishaya pipasha prapidita dase. Vishaya pipasha prapidita dase. Deho adikara yugala vilase. Adikara Yugala Vila. Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kemonela Bibe Charama Sharana. Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kemonela Bibe Charama Sharana. Chanchala Jivana Shota Pravahiya. Chanchala Shota Pravahiya. Kalira Sagare Daya. Kalira Sagare Daya. Angelo de Divasha Nayasi Beara. Angelo de Divasha Nayasi Beara. Ebe Krishna Kiyu Paya. Ebe Krishna Kiyu Paya. Tumi to patita jane bandhu. Tumi patita jane bandhu. Janiye তোমারে নাতা তুমি তো করুণা জলা সিন্ধু ও জানিয়ে তোমারে নাতা তুমি তো করুণা জলা সিন্ধু Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kemone Labi Becharama Sharana Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kemone Labi Becharama Ami Bhagyahina Ati Arbachina Ami Bhagya Na jani bakati lesha jani নিজ গুণে নাতা করো আত্মা সাতা নিজ গুণে গুচাইয়া বাবা ক্লেশা Guchaya Baba Kleya Oshida Deha Diya Vrindavana Maje Deha Diya Vrindavana Maje Seva Mrito Koro Dana Piya prema mata kori more Piya prema mata kori more Piya prema mata kori more Shunoni jaguna gana Shunoni Yugala Sevaya Shira Samandale Maya Shira Samandale Nijukta Koro Amaya Lalita Sakira Jogya Kinkari Sakira Jogya Lalita Sakira Jogya Kinkari Vinoda Dori Chepaya Vinoda Dori Chepaya Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kemone Labi Becharama Sharana Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kemone Labi Becharama Sharana Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Radhe Jai Shri Krishna Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Oh Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Gaura Premanande, Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Param Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radharaman Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande.
Gyanantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurtise Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Yam Pravajantam Anapeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Tadua Juhava Putre tritan mayatayo tadavo bane dush. Tangsava bhuta hridaya munimanatosmi. Bhaktyavahinaya parada lakshai. Chiptascha kamaditarangamadye. Kripa maitvam sharanam prapadyam. Vrinde namaste charanara vrindam. Tavevasmi najivami tambina. Iti vigyaya radhe tam nayanam charanantike. So first, offer my heartfelt obeisances to my beloved Holy Master, Nitya Vishom Vishnu Padasot Shishima Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also unto Nitya Vishom Vishnu Padasot Shishima Bhakti Vigam Bharti Goswami Maharaj, Nitya Vishom Vishnu Padasot Shishima Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and to our entire Rupanuga Varga, to our guardians on this path of devotion, and to all of the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. So, I was thinking in that last bhajan that Tirthapad so beautifully sang, or I wasn't thinking, it just kind of came to me, that you all, especially you four right here, can speak so much better than me, and they know so much more than me in such a short time. Well, you've been devoted your whole life, but them three are just like, shoo, spooky, all of you. But we're put in certain roles and certain positions for certain reasons. And my Gurudev has asked me many times to speak for his final 2 years of his Leela. 2008 to 10, he asked me numerous times to speak. And so we know the order of the Guru is the only way to make progress. And even if it's not our nature, we don't even really know what our nature is, but they do. And they engage us in such a way. So having said that, then this pastime came to me of, I think it was Sankaracharya was giving class, and he had thousands of disciples, and they're all sitting and they're waiting for him to start speaking, and he wasn't speaking, and they're like, Gurudev, come on, Gurudev, you can start class now. He's like, no, there's one disciple, my one disciple, Kailash, he's not here yet. And they're like, oh, he doesn't know anything anyways. He's like, he's illiterate. We can start without him. And he was across the river washing his guru's clothes at the time. So they waited. And then Kailash comes running in. He finishes washing the clothes. He comes running in. And then his Gurudev starts to give a lecture. And when he calls on him, he speaks all these verses from Bhagavad Gita, even though he's illiterate. So I'm praying. And then it's really amazing what happens when you pray. It actually works. These verses from each Upanishad, which I haven't thought of, read or said or thought about. Me and Didi used to learn these when I was your guys' age. I used to learn these verses, and I always thought, these last two verses seemed I don't want to say, confusing to me, because they're kind of requesting something of Krishna. And then as I was singing, we were singing Shirada Krishna Padalekama, I was like, it was like this pastime of Sankaracharya and the disciple. So it says, let this temporary body burn to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, and because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. And so I used to think of it wow, how selfish, we're supposed to be serving selflessly, no matter what, in Chikshastakam, Radharani's saying, do with me as you like, be with me or be with another gopi, come be with me or don't come with me, you're my Lord, life after life. And so we're taught this selflessness of doing our seva regardless of any reward. And then here, he's saying, please remember all that I've done for you. And so I was just thinking that the Lord is so kind, and he's so loving, and he's so sweet, and he doesn't want us to suffer, and he's seeing, and so I'm thinking, okay, I've been serving Didi for 22 years now. I've done so much austerity, I'm like, okay, my Lord, I'm not a good speaker, but still, if I've done anything, let something come out so I don't look like a fool in front of all my sisters and brothers here. So, anyways, I just thought that was really beautiful and wanted to share. Also, I've been thinking, since we've been hearing about this Kumbh Mela, this Mahasnan, and today we were looking, Tirthapad was showing us these I wasn't looking, but I did look at the Nagababas, who are like millions of them roaming through Prayag naked and covered in ash. And then I was remembering that I've heard this pastime that has something to do with Garuda. There's something to, so I found it. You did? And it's so, so good. So I wanted to read that first before maybe people do a little Nectar of Devotion, which might go on forever. But anyways, this was a really amazing pastime. So, okay, so Srila Gurudev says, once there was an argument between the co-wives of Kashyapa Muni. Their names were Kadru and Vinata. Vinata said, the sun has a human form. That sun god sits on a chariot, and that chariot is pulled by white horses with shining white tails. The queens were at that time not seeing the chariot clearly. Kadru knew that the horses' tails were white, but just to be contradictory, she said they were black. Kadru told Vinata, if I am right, then you will have to become my maidservant, and if you are right, then I'll become your maidservant. The two co-wives then arranged to see the chariot better when the sun would be more clearly visible. Kadru was the mother of snakes. She told her sons, who were black cobras, I do not want to be a maidservant. Go to the horses before sunrise and cover their tails with your bodies so that I do not lose. Her sons flew into the sky and covered the tails. When Kadru and Vinata later saw the horses, the tails were black, and Vinata was bound to become the maidservant of Kadru. At that time, Vinata was pregnant, and she later gave birth to Garuda. Garuda is? Yes. When he was somewhat grown, Garuda realized that his mother was a maidservant, and he wept. He inquired from her how she had become so and asked if there was a way for her to be freed. Vinata told her son how she had lost a bet, and her freedom would come only if she would give Kadru a kalash, a jar of heavenly nectar. But that nectar was held in lock and key by Indra in Swarvaloka in heaven. So Garuda easily flew to Swarga and defeated the demigods, and he took the pot of nectar and returned home and gave it to his mother, who was then freed. On the way home, he stopped in 4 places to rest: Vrindavan, Prayag, Hardwar, and Ujjain. When he sat at each of those places, the air there was touched by the nectar, and some nectar also seeped through the clay pot. And one of those places was Vrindavan. That is why when the Kaliya serpent killed they weren't really dead. They just all fainted, and everyone thought they were dead, but they thought they were, by this poison, one tree remained alive. And that was the tree upon which Garuda had sat, which is still there at Kaliya Daha in Vrindavan. When Kaliya was a serpent who was poisoning all the Rajbasis, he was poisoning the Jamuna. And so that where Garuda sat, that tree is still present today. It's really amazing. But and so these 4 places where the nectar dropped are the 4 places where Kumbh Mela is every 12 years. It rotates between these 4 places. Then Gurudev says, but what is the real nectar? Garuda is an eternal servant of Lord Narayan. His heart is a pot of nectar because he keeps the pastimes of Narayan there. Thus, when he sat at those places, he spoke Harikatha to the sages assembled there, like Narada and the 4 Kumaras. This is nectar. Now, can you just envision Garuda giving katha to Narada? Nowadays, pilgrims only go to the Ganges to take bath. And if she is merciful, in thousands of years she may give some purity. On the other hand, sadhu sangha will give immediate results, which is what we sing in Ebara Karuna Koro, that just by, the Ganges can purify us. Yes. But just the sight, just the immediate sight of a sadhu immediately purifies us. By the association of Swarga, heaven, your lust, problems, and pride will be increased, and you'll be lost in false ego. However, by a high class of association, Harikatha can even give the association of Radha and Krishna conjugal. We cannot calculate how high this is. It is said in the Sastra that you'll be liberated by taking bath in Kumbh Mela, but this is said just to attract general people so that they may meet sadhus like Narada Muni. Moreover, I know that what I'm telling you, you will not hear from any other sadhu. I know Srila Prabhupada went to Kumbh Mela and not Radhanaswami, somebody, I heard one of the Prabhupada memories, one of like the big gurus met Prabhupada at Kumbh Mela, maybe Shamasundar or someone. You were going to say something, Haridas? Okay. So that's the real. So one of the places at which Garuda dropped nectar was Prayag, which is where the Kumbh is now, this year. Every 12 years, during a certain constellation, many sadhus come there and hold a mela, a festival, giving talks about spiritual subjects. The Sanskrit word for clay pot is kumbha, and therefore the mela is called Kumbh Mela. The fruits of taking bath at Kumbh Mela cannot be compared to an atom of the benefit achieved by being in Vrindavan. Once there was a great Kumbh Mela in Prayag. Devotees, tapasvis, jnanis, and yogis were all there. All the tirthas also came there to give presentations to Tirtharaj, Prayag. At that time, Narada came and spoke to Tirtharaj. He asked, "Are you Tirtharaj, the king or greatest of all tirthas, holy places? Is this the truth?" Tirtharaj answered, "Yes." Narada said, "I don't believe you. All the tirthas are here to present upahar, gifts to you. But do you see here a single tirtha of Vrindavan?" Tirtharaj looked here and there, and he couldn't find any tirtha from Vrindavan. Even the smallest tirtha had not come to honor him. Narada said, "Then how are you Tirtharaj?" Tirtharaj then went to Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. When present before the Lord, he asked, "Why did you give me this title of Tirtharaj? I am not Tirtharaj." Narayan replied, "Who has told you this?" He said, "Narada Rishi told me." "Oh, don't believe him. He is a troublemaker. He is trying to trick you. Don't listen to him." But his facts were true. There at Prayag, he showed me that all of the tirthas had come to honor me, but not a single tirtha of the 84 square miles of Vrindavan was present. "He has tricked you. Vrindavan is not a tirtha. Vrindavan is my heart. It is myself. How can I give my heart to you? So really you are Tirtharaj." You cannot imagine how those in Vrindavan can control Krishna. Those who can follow the Palyadasis or Srimati Radhika will never go to Prayag. By hearing Narayan's pastimes and bathing in Prayag, you can only get salvation in the fruits of your desires. The highest attainment you can receive is the service of Narayan. But even a mosquito or a dog of Vrindavan will not want to be a servant of Narayan. They will even reject being like Hanuman. They don't even want to be like Rukmini and Satyabhama. They don't even want to be like the friends of Krishna who can sleep on the same bed as him and embrace him. Krishna sometimes takes them on his shoulders, and he takes their prasad remnants in his mouth. But these Palyadasis won't even take this friendship, nor even the parental love of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. They only want to be Palyadasis of Radhika, nothing else. If Srimati Radhika is angry at Krishna, they will offer namaskar to Krishna by saying, "Oh, you black cheater." Garuda and Narada can't do this, so why should these high-class devotees give up Vrindavan? They will never go out of Vrindavan, and wherever they live is Vrindavan. I have not read astrology. I only know what I've heard from my Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the greatest astrologer of his time. One university had an honored chair of astrology, and they invited Srila Prabhupada to come and sit in that chair, but he never cared for that position. Though, it's kind of an interesting ending. Though some of the ISKCON leaders regard me, they fear that I'll take away their disciples. They don't know that I have not come for that. Besides that, their disciples are not their property. If a lady is married to someone and that person is sick, then even when she is cooking for her children, she is always thinking about her children. She's always thinking about her husband. What to do. She is doing so many other things, but she is always thinking of him. Similarly, if there's a relationship with Krishna, then gradually, although doing other things, you will always think of him. So that was a very fascinating explanation of Kumbh Mela, and it actually really corresponds to Nectar of Devotion, which is Srila Prabhupada's commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami. So one of the main verses of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is Yana Karma Anavritam Krishnanushyalanam Bhakti Uttamam, which means
Uttama Bhakti, the topmost Bhakti, is the undeviated, constant flow of all activities for this exclusive pleasure of Sri Krishna. It is not covered by jnana, impersonal knowledge, karma, fruit of activities, yoga, or other austerities. It is completely devoid of all desires other than the desire to bring Krishna happiness.
Jai. Very nice. So what is so beautiful about the correlation between what we're hearing from the Kumbh Mela and what is a definition of pure bhakti, that so many people are going to Kumbh Mela just to go. It's like a party, it's a huge party, and so without having, as aspiring devotees, to go without service, like if we're going to distribute books or going to distribute prasadam or going for some reason to get closer to Krishna. Everything we do, we want to get closer to Krishna. So as Gurudev was saying here, that people in Brajbasis, those who only want to be a maidservant of Radharani, they're not going to run to Prayag for any other reason than to get closer to Radharani. So similarly with this definition of pure bhakti of Srila Rupa Goswami, it's this doing those things that are going to bring us closer to Radha and Krishna. So not doing karma. I mean, of course, everything, there's always action. We always have to do something. So, like as Sharma Didi always says, therefore we always, to always keep the Maha Mantra going, even if we're not chanting on our beads, but in our minds, because when we walk, we're stepping on ants, we're stepping on some sort of insect, when we turn on the water, when anything we do, it's going to involve, we drive a car, we're running over so many things we probably can't even imagine. But if it's in the service of Krishna, if we're thinking of Krishna, if we're chanting, then it's mitigated. So karma gyan, not just wanting to be, the most intelligent person, being a jnani, and I want to know every verse in Bhagavad Gita just so I can know every verse and just so I can recite it and I can be the smartest in the class. But to know the Gita, to be able to, as I think Ashram Raj was so beautifully saying last Sunday, that we need to have our ammunition, we need to be able to share. If we're following this process but we can't explain it, or we can't share something about it, even if we can't memorize but we have our book or we have notes or anything, we all have different ways of sharing. But so not just developing knowledge for the sake of developing knowledge. What was the other one? Tapasya, austerity, doing austerity just to show how much austerity I've done, or of again this like expectation, but in that mood, always this, love-filled mood, this desire. Like I remember, like one of my favorite austerities I've ever done. Anyways, one austerity that I've done that I hiked to Nilkant, which is where Lord Shiva drank the poison, and he kept it in his throat, and he didn't want to swallow it fully because he knew Krishna was in his heart, and so he didn't want the poison touching Krishna. So Nil means blue, Kant means throat. So on Shiva Ratri, on Lord Shiva's day, I hiked 6 hours up to that temple, and I fasted till I didn't want to, and all my friends were like, well, you have to at least drink water, and I'm like, I didn't want to take anything until I saw Lord Shiva and I made my prayers. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava. Jai. So, but it's not that I have any mood or that my mood is so strong, but more, I was really praying that let me do this austerity to please Lord Shiva, who's the greatest devotee of Krishna. And I want to be, I want to get close to Krishna. So if I please him, then maybe he'll put in a word for me. So again, doing some austerity for the Lord. Austerity's good. Austerity is the wealth of the Brahmins. So to our capacity, sometimes we all can't do nirjal, fully fast on Ekadasi. We we all know our limits. We don't want to then become sick or tired where we can't do service at all. At the same time, any austerity that we can do is pleasing, but it's not our goal. And what was the other one? Austerity, yoga, was jnana, karma, karmati. We did karma. So, like this, just constantly, our constant mood, our constant conversation with ourselves should always be, is this favorable or unfavorable? And which we say every day, and we sing every day. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jive Dvaya Kora. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Dvaya. That's the other one. Yeah. Sharanagati prayer. This Anukulyasya Sankalpa, that is this favorable for my bhakti or unfavorable? And if we don't know, we're so fortunate to have access to sadhus, to our Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas that can help us figure it out. Either tell us or ask us to weigh the pros and cons. And so, yeah. Okay, so we started like a year ago. No, like 6 months ago, maybe. Yeah, we got to page 22, which is the first stages of devotion. So I think I'm not going to start over, but I will share this beautiful characteristics of pure devotional service, which is that pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. This klesh agni, klesh means distress, and agni means the fire of distress, the fire of material suffering. So much material suffering. And we sing every morning, Samsara Dava Nalalita Loka, that the forest fire can be extinguished by the mercy, the rain of the pure devotees. Krishna is so kind, Radharani is so kind, she sends her pure devotees to this world for us to put out this fire of material suffering that's blazing in all of us. So Klesha Agni, we can, by practicing pure devotional service, we can be freed from material distress, and then pure devotional service brings all auspiciousness. This Shubhada. Pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. So rare. I think a lot of, especially like living in this bubble of SVA, we forget sometimes. I know for myself, I take for granted how rare bhakti is. Krishna says in the Gita, out of millions, right, of people, one person will come to the path of bhakti. So we're so fortunate. And out of that one, what's the next verse? Out of that,
few achieve perfection.
Yeah.
Those who achieve perfection, no one knows me.
Yeah. Those in pure devotional service deride even the conception of liberation. And pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. And Prabhupada says Krishna is all attractive, but pure devotional service attracts even him. This means that pure devotional service is even transcendently stronger than Krishna himself, because it is Krishna's internal potency. So then Srila Prabhupada went through those. He gave some commentary on those 6 characteristics. And then chapter 2 is the first stages of devotion. So I'm going to read from where we left off several months ago. Oh, does everyone here know who Srila Rupa Goswami is? Rupa Goswami. So that's Srila Prabhupada. So that, yes. So Goswami means one who is has full control over their senses. So all of our acharyas actually are Goswamis.
What
No lust, greed, pride, anger, envy, illusion, false ego, fully pure. Don't. Those are. It's not even a consideration. They don't even think about it. It's not like they even have to think. It's just gone. Like they, they don't even have to think. Yeah, doesn't even come in their mind like, oh, I shouldn't have that sweet, but I really want it. But I shouldn't have it. I know it's not good for me. Like none of those thoughts even enter their consciousness. And then there's 6 Goswamis who are on the altar when the altar opens, that were associates of Lord Chaitanya, of Mahaprabhu. What? Yeah. Yeah. And their form, and their sadhak form, and their forms with Lord Chaitanya. There's 6 Goswamis. And Srila Rupa Goswami is the leader of all the Goswamis. He's known as like the superintendent of all of Krishna consciousness. And he, this is his, he wrote, Mahaprabhu instructed him and them to write literature on the bhakti, on bhakti. So they've illuminated the bhakti path by their books, and they've left them for us. So this is one of them. So very, very important personality that every day as we learn who the, what different personalities are, every day is extremely important to pray to them. There's a lot of, I know for me, like, they say, say Prabhupada says just chant and be happy. But I don't find it that easy sometimes. And so there's a lot of things we can do that can bring it out and make it easy, like Ericher Avasam Brajabhuvi Saragam Pratijanur Yuva Dwanden Chatchet Chadarichar Harmilase Sarupam Shri Rupam Saganami Hatasya Grajamapi Sputam Premna Nityam Smaranamataratvam Shinu Manaha. That every day we can bow down with love to, if we want to attain this bhakti, this highest bhakti, this ragatmika bhakti, following in the wake of the devotees and the Brajbasis, those in Vrindavan, every day we can bow down with love to Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. So like that's why our Jayadwani is so important, because immediately in the morning we're remembering them, and by remembering them, all inauspiciousness is cut and auspiciousness comes. So, and we can even think of anything we know about them. That's why it's so important to hear about them, read about them. Anything we know, we can just think, wow. Like, and if we've even been to, or if we've been to their bhajan, kutir, and samadhi, or if we haven't, we could see a picture, and then we have that visual. So, Srila Rupa Goswami's super, super most important personality. So, okay, so here we go. So there's, in this first stages of bhakti, he's explaining Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. Well, he's explaining, we'll just read. Okay, Rupa Goswami defines the first part of devotional service, or Vaidhi Bhakti, as follows. When there's no attachment or no spontaneous loving service to the Lord, and one is engaged in the service of the Lord simply out of obedience to the order of the spiritual master, or in pursuance of the scriptures, such obligatory service is called Vaidhi Bhakti. So, Vaidhi meaning like we're doing it out of duty. Like, for example, we offer our food because Krishna says in the Gita, if we don't offer our food, we're just verily eating sin. And we don't want to eat sin, so we offer, and we want to, so that's Vaidhi. I think, I know I got to offer my food or else I'm just eating sin, I'm just eating boga. But then it becomes to a point where it becomes spontaneous loving, like, I want to make Krishna, I want to make Krishna, sweets. He loves sweets, ladus, and, right, whatever. I'm just making things for him, not thinking like, I want ice cream, so let me offer it so I don't get sin, so it's not sinful. But this spontaneous, I want to make puris, and I want to make doshas, and I want to, just making things that whatever we make, just it's because Krishna's hungry. Oh, it's dinner time. Krishna's, not that. Well, I'm not hungry, so then I don't need to cook or offer anything. So, And Vaidhi Bhakti is actually really hard to even perform too. It's a very high thing as well, because it's like these, there's so many, seems like, oh, there's so many rules and regulations in Krishna consciousness. Like every time we go to the bathroom, then we take a shower, and we shower to be clean. But we're actually not just taking a shower. We're not thinking like, oh, I have to just be clean. It's why. It's because it makes Krishna happy. If we're clean for Krishna, then he's going to be happy. And so we always want to make Krishna happy, especially if we're doing service on the altar or doing anything, because everything belongs to Krishna. So touching his pot, I'm, making something for, or whatever it is. It's so this Vaidhi, this rules, turns into the spontaneous love, where it's just automatic and we don't have to think about it anymore. It just becomes part of who we are and what we do. Yeah.
So what's that one called?
Raganuga.
Raganuga.
Yeah, spontaneous loving attachment.
So there's what was it, the first one? Vaidhi
Vaidhi.
and Raganuga.
Yeah.
That's cool. But there's a difference.
Yeah. These principles of Vaidhi Bhakti are also described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter, verse 5, where Sukadeva Goswami instructs the dying Maharaj Parikshit as to his course of action. Maharaj Parikshit met Sukadeva Goswami just a week before his death, and the king was perplexed as to what should be done before he was to pass on. Many other sages also arrived there, but no one could give him the proper direction. Sukadeva Goswami, however, gave this direction to him as follows. My dear king, if you want to be fearless in meeting your death next week, for actually everyone is afraid of death, then you must immediately begin the process of hearing and chanting and remembering God. If one can chant and hear Hare Krishna and always remember Lord Krishna, then he is sure to become fearless of death, which may come at any moment. In the statements of Sukadeva Goswami, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna. Therefore, Sukadeva recommends that one should always hear about Krishna. He does not recommend that one hear and chant about the demigods. The Mayavadis and personalists say that one may chant any name, either that of Krishna or those of the demigods, and the result will be the same. But actually, this is not a fact. According to the authorized version of Srimad Bhagavatam, one has to hear and chant about Lord Vishnu, Krishna only. So Sukadeva Goswami has recommended to Parikshit Maharaj that in order to be fearless of death, one has to hear and chant and remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by all means. He also mentions that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sarvatma. Sarvatma means the super soul of everyone. Krishna is also mentioned as Ishwar, the supreme controller who is situated in everyone's heart. Therefore, if some way or other we become attached to Krishna, he will make us free from all danger. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that anyone who becomes a devotee of the Lord is never vanquished. Others, however, are always vanquished. Vanquished means that after getting this human form of life, a person does not come out of the entanglement of birth and death, and thus misses his golden opportunity. Such a person does not know where he is being thrown by the laws of nature. Suppose one does not develop Krishna consciousness in this human form of life. He'll be thrown into the cycle of birth and death involving 8,400,000 species of life, and his spiritual identity will remain lost. Whether he's going at the time of death, it's, Yeah. And I was learning that verse the other day with didi about that what we think of at the time of death, that state of being will attain. And so then I asked Sharmaji, I said, well, what if someone tells us about Krishna, right? If one of our parents is dying or something, we tell them about Krishna, and so then they think of Krishna, then if they're thinking about Krishna at the time of death, does that mean they're going to go to Krishna? Because then that would make it so easy. And she said it's not like that, actually. It's not, because if you've done no practice, you don't know who Krishna is. So you can think about Krishna and you'll get if they say Krishna or think, well, obviously then something's there and it will alter the destination. But the real test is how long do we know who Krishna is? Do we know what he looks like, what he's wearing, what he's doing? So if we're thinking and visualizing Krishna at death and seeing, this peacock feather and I want to hear his flute and, knowing him, that's what we're doing in this life, is trying to get to know him and love him and serve him and know what he wants and be that connected, hearing him. Then that's what this verse, the actual highest so Prabhupada says, after death, we do not know our destination because we are completely under the control of the laws of nature. Only Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the controller of the laws of nature. Therefore, if we take shelter of Krishna seriously, there will be no fear of being thrown back into the cycle of so many species of life. A sincere devotee will surely be transferred to the abode of Krishna as affirmed in Bhagavad Gita. There it is said that one should always remember Lord Vishnu. This is called dhyan, or meditation, always remembering Krishna. It is said that one has to meditate with his mind fixed upon Vishnu. Padma Purana recommends that one always fix his mind on the form of Vishnu by meditation and not forget him at any moment. This state of consciousness is called samadhi, or trance. We should always try to mold the activities of our lives in such a way that we will constantly remember Vishnu or Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Whether one concentrates his mind on the four-hand form of Vishnu or the form of two-handed Krishna, it is the same. Interesting. In Tattva, not Ras. The Padma Purana recommends somehow or other always think of Vishnu without forgetting him under any circumstance. This is the most basic of all regulative principles. For when there's an order from a superior about doing something, there's simultaneously a prohibition. When the order is that one should always remember Krishna, the prohibition is that one should never forget him. Within this simple order and prohibition, all regulative principles are found complete. I'll read one more page. Actually, we should read this whole paragraph. This regular principle is applicable to all varnas and ashrams, the castes and occupations of life. Would you like to tell Ed what varnas are and what ashrams are?
Varnas are castes, so like occupational duties. There's 4 of them. The head is the brahmanas, the wisdom carriers. The kshatriyas are the politicians/warriors. The kshatriyas are the politicians and warriors.
Hare Krishna.
Vaishyas are the producers of grain and commerce. And then the Shudras are the workers and artisans. Those are the 4
Varnas.
And then the 4 ashramas are the stages of life. So like from the beginning stage of life is brahmacharya, you're a student. The second stage of life is you're a householder, you're married with a house and children. And you support all the other people in the society. And then when you get a little older, you become a vanaprastha, which means you go to the forest, start giving up your worldly attachments. And then the final stage is sannyas, which is all the people who wear silk, saffron. Well, that's not. Brahmacharis also wear saffron, but they are completely dedicated to the path of transcendentalism.
Oh, very good. Yeah, great. Thank you. You guys. Therefore, so as he said, the Brahmins, the priests and intellectuals, the Kshatriyas, warriors, the Vaishyas, the businessmen, and the Sudras, the laborers. And then the 4 ashrams: brahmachari, student life; grihastha, householder; vanaprastha, retired; sannyas, renounced. The regulative principles are not only for brahmacharis, celibate students to follow, but are applicable for all. It doesn't matter whether one is a beginner, a brahmachari, or is very advanced, a sannyasi. The principle of remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly and not forgetting him at any moment is meant to be followed by everyone without fail. If this injunction is followed, then all other rules and regulations will automatically fall into line. All other rules and regulations should be treated as assistants or servants to this one basic principle. The injunction of rules and regulations and the reactions are mentioned in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. Chamasamuni, one of the 9 sages who came to instruct King Nimi, addressed the king and said, "The 4 social orders, namely the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras, have come out of the different parts of the universal form of the Supreme Lord as follows. The Brahmins have come out from the head, the Kshatriyas have come out from the arms, the Vaishyas have come out from the waist, and the Sudras have come out from the legs." Yeah, right? Similarly, the sannyasis have come out from the head, the vanaprasthas from the arms, the grihastas from the waist, and the brahmacharis from the legs.
Wait, say that one last one.
Sannyasis come out from the head, vanaprasthas from the arms, the grihastas from the waist, and the brahmacharis from the legs. So it's such a science. You know, Krishna consciousness is such a science. It's like everything is there. It's so amazing.
It's interesting because I would like when I tell people because I want to learn like, just how businesses operate and everything, and so learning the different positions like I usually like I explain them like a business is like it's like different organs of like a big body. Like the executives are the head, the workers are the hands, and so like it kind of reminds me of that, but like even in a bigger scale, like on a worldwide, like universal level.
Yes, yeah, because everything emanates from Krishna. He's the creator of the spiritual and material worlds. So, yeah.
Very profound what you said. Thank you for sharing.
Yay. Are you doing arti also, Samuki? Sure. So let me know when you're ready. We're at Raganuga Temple. No, we're on time. 8:15. So let's just close out this chapter. What's the next chapter?
It's like an echo. It's like this concept like echoes on to like everything. Like it's
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
I do.
it's like
Yeah.
like a kaleidoscope. It's like keeps going.
Yeah. And it never, like when I got the Bhagavad Gita in 1998, and I would just like treat it like an oracle, I'd pray, and then I'd open it, always answer my questions. And I said, I'm going to follow this book until it stops answering my questions. And it's like, it hasn't stopped, and it's just, there's so much. Like you said, it never ends. Like we could, even in this life, we can't even read and learn and like all, I mean, everything's in the Maha Mantra, but still like all this Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's so vast that it's, yeah. Yes, yeah. So there's the book Bhagavat and there's the person Bhagavat. So being around a person Bhagavat, we're very fortunate because we get to be around the person Bhagavat, and then it's like expedites the process, fast track. So Srila Prabhupada continues to explain that about these 4 orders. Let's see. Whether one is a Brahmin or a Sudra, one has to satisfy the Lord by one's activities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavatam by a verse that reads, "Everyone must be engaged in a particular duty, but the perfection of such work should be tested by how far the Lord is satisfied with such activities." Which like reminds me of the question that when someone asked Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, what is the best service in the temple or in general? And he says that service that is done with love. So someone can be, temple president, but grumpy, and and someone could be washing a toilet, just singing Hare Krishna, so it's, and we think, oh, that's, the person cleaning the toilet is lower. There is no lower and higher in devotional service. So, love is the answer to all. The injunction herein is that one has to act according to his position, and by such activities one must either satisfy the Supreme Personality, or else fall down from one's position. For example, a Brahmin who was born out of the head of the Lord has as his business to preach the transcendental Vedic sounds, or Shabda Brahma. Because the Brahmin is the head, he has to preach the transcendental sound, and he also has to eat on behalf of the Supreme Lord. According to Vedic injunctions, when a Brahmin eats, it is to be understood that the personality of Godhead is eating through him. Whoa. It is not, however, that the Brahmin should simply eat on behalf of the Lord and not preach the message of Bhagavad Gita to the world. Actually, one who preaches the message of the Gita is very dear to Krishna, as is confirmed in the Gita itself. Such a preacher is factually a Brahmin, and thus, by feeding him, one feeds the Supreme Lord directly. Similarly, the Kshatriya has to protect people from the onslaughts of Maya. That is his duty. For example, as soon as Maharaj Pariksit saw that a black man was attempting to kill a cow, he immediately took his sword, wanting to kill him, whose name was Kali. That is a Kshatriya's duty. Violence is required in order to give protection. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna directly gave his order to Arjuna to commit violence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra just to give protection to the people in general. The Vaishyas are meant for producing agricultural products, trading them, and distributing them. And the working class, or Sudras, are those who have the intelligence of the Brahmins or Kshatriyas, or the Vaishyas, and therefore they're meant to help these higher classes by bodily labor. In this way, there is full cooperation and spiritual advancement among all the different orders of society. And when there's no such cooperation, like we have now, then the members of society will fall down. That is the present position in Kali Yuga, this age of quarrel. No one is doing his duty, and everyone is simply puffed up by calling himself a Brahmin, intellectual, or a Kshatriya, soldier. But actually such people are without status. They are out of touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because they are not Krishna conscious. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement is intended to set the whole of human society in proper condition, so that everyone will be happy and take profit from developing Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada says, thus, the Krishna conscious movement is so nice that there is no need of designating oneself Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyas. Let everyone be engaged in whatever occupation he now has. Simply let him worship Lord Krishna by the result of his activities in Krishna consciousness. That will adjust the whole situation, and everyone will be happy and peaceful within this world. In the Narada Pancharatra, the regulative principles of devotional service are described as follows. Any activity sanctioned in the revealed scriptures and aiming at the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are accepted by saintly teachers as the regulative principles of devotional service. If one regularly executes such service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master, then gradually he rises to the platform in serving in pure love of God. When, oh when. So,
when did the Kali Yuga begin?
5,000 years ago.
And it's going to keep going till
427,000 years.
It's just begun. I know.
We're so fortunate to be in the golden section
Yes.
of Kali Yuga because we still have the holy names. We have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah. Yeah.
not like something disappeared.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Jai. Shri Radhaman Bihari ki jai. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. Shri Satchidananda Gaur Hari ki jai. Shri Giraj Govardhan ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, everybody. Jai.